Another good use of squash.
That's right. That's good stuff right there, y'all. I know it looks kind of like fried cornbread too, don't it?
I want another one.
They're good, y'all. So you got to try. Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler Kitchen. If you're new to our channel, welcome. If you've been with us all this time, welcome back. Well, we still got a lot of squash coming off in the garden, and y'all been wanting some more squash recipes. So we're going to start this video out with making some squash fritters. They're easy, and I guarantee you that you've got everything you need in your kitchen to make these fritters, and they're going to be really good. So let's get started on the fritters, and then when we get them done and eat us some squash fritters, we're going to go outside and we're going to sit down and talk for just a little bit. So y'all make sure that you stick around for the end of the video, because we're going to have a little chit chat. In this recipe, and I showed y'all at the beginning that 2 just regular size yellow squash. You can do this with zucchini too. You can do this with really any kind of acorn squash, zucchini, yellow squash, anything like that. But it was just 2 regular size yellow squash, and I just grated it on a box grater. But what you need for this recipe is 3 cups of grated squash. And I think I've got just a little bit more than 3 cups here. But I do want to, maybe not. We're going to be really close, that's for sure. Just pack it in your cup, and I'm putting mine in a strainer because we're going to let the squash set for just a little bit and let some of that liquid strain out of it. So those 2 regular size squash is going to make pretty much 3 cups of grated squash. I mean, you can't get any closer than this. I might be just, I thought I was going to be over, but I'm just maybe just a hair shy, but it's going to work. So we're just going to say 3 cups of grated squash. And then I'm just going to take my potato masher, and I'm just going to mash down on that squash a little bit to get that liquid kind of settling down. So I'm just pressing some of that liquid out. And I'm going to go ahead and I diced up my medium onion, and I'm even going to put that in there with the squash inside the strainer, because even your onions will have a little bit of liquid left in them. So I'm just going to take both of them just like this, press them down just like that, and I'll show you. I've already got some liquid out of there already. For your fritters to stick together, you need to get as much of that out of there as you can. So I'm just going to press that down a little bit harder. Then I'm just going to let that sit there for just a little bit and let some of that. Okay, so our squash and our onions have been straining. You can see there's still liquid coming out of it, but it's looking pretty good. So now we're just going to mix all the ingredients up together now. Okay, so you got your 3 cups of grated squash, yellow squash or zucchini, and a medium diced up onion that's been draining for a little bit. You need a cup of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of just regular white sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt. Now, generally, you need a large egg. These 2 eggs weren't very big, so I may use both of them to make one large egg. I'm going to see how this one does first. See if it binds it all together, but you do need 1 large egg or 2 small. I mean, that's all your ingredients. Now you can add you some, I may put some pepper in here though, but you can even add some garlic powder. There's a lot of onion in here, so I don't think you need any onion powder. If you like a little bit of spice, you can put you some grated jalapeno or some Cajun seasoning. Maybe a little bit of paprika. But we just like them simple. And what you want to do is just make sure that it gathers up. I'm going to see if that one egg is enough. If not, I'll add another small egg. But you can see it's kind of gathering up and everything's sticking together, binding together. Let me get me some pepper. You gotta have pepper in here. And if you find that a half a teaspoon of salt's not enough, you can always add a little bit more. But just remember, you can always add to it, but you can't take it away. That's why I'm always kind of limited on my salt when I'm making a recipe. And so you don't over salt it. Okay. Let me get me a spoon. I'm just gonna get me a spoon and kind of gather it up. I don't like making really big fritters. Probably about that, a good big tablespoon. And if I can do this and they stay together, they don't fall apart, I know I've got the right combination of flour and egg. So I'm going to get my pan going and get me some hot oil in there, and we'll start frying our fritters up. It's about that easy. Okay, we're going to fry our fritters up in a cast iron skillet. But you can do it in any kind of skillet that you want to fry them in. You want your, probably about medium high. You don't want it up really high because they're going to cook too fast and brown too fast and not get done in the middle. I'm going to use, you can use any kind of oil. You can use a mixture of bacon grease and some lard, or just lard, which lard is pork. Or you can use whatever kind of oil or grease that you use. I'm just using, what I've got in here is grapeseed oil, and it's just what I'm putting in this contraption here. And this is a really neat thing. You can spray it or you can dump it, one or the other. So anyways, use whatever you want to. Today I'm just going to be using a neutral oil, which is my grapeseed oil. Let me see. And you just want enough on the bottom of the pan just to cover the bottom of your pan. Just to cover it like that. And I'm going to let that heat up just a little bit before I put my patties in there. That way when they touch that hot grease and that hot pan, they'll start cooking real fast and not just kind of absorb all that grease and oil. Okay, I think my pan is hot enough. So I'm going to make me some fritters. Kind of like if you was making potato cakes. I like to mash mine down just a little bit once I get them in there. And this is a lot of onion, so if you don't want that much onion in there, just cut up a small onion. And if you've got a cookie scoop that you'd rather use, instead of using your hands, by all means do that. But the good Lord give us these implements to use, and I use them. Let me wash my hands. I think I might put just a little bit more pepper on top. And you need to let them cook about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And then flip it over and cook it another 3 minutes. You could, this is a good recipe to use with your grated frozen squash that you put up. You can grate it just like I did and drain as much liquid out as you can and freeze them in little squares or round balls or in a muffin tin or whatever. And then just thaw them out in your refrigerator. And then I would, even after thaw them out, I would strain them again and then make your fritters. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. Okay, we're going to flip them over. And cook them another 3 minutes on that side. Okay, you want them to get good and golden brown like this one is before you take it out. And you want it to be good and brown on each side. I'm just putting mine out here. You can drain them on a paper towel or a piece of parchment paper. I'm going to get these out, and I'm just going to continue cooking them until I get them all done. I just about got all these fritters cooked up. And I've already ate one, and they are really, really good. And I do like that amount of onion in there too. So, you just want to get them good and brown. Maybe when we get Mr. Brown come over here and taste of one. You want to taste one of these squash fritters?
A squash fritter.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you that one because it just come out of the pan. It's hot.
I'll taste it without ketchup first.
Okay. You don't have to have ketchup on it. I just like it with ketchup.
Reminds me a lot of fried squash.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Got all the ingredients in it.
Oh yeah. It's got flour and egg and onions and salt and a little bit of sugar in it.
I taste an onion, I like that.
I do too. Let me get these out of here before they burn up. I actually think, as much as I love fried squash, I really like these too, the fritters. And they're really easy to put together and fry up.
Is it easier than frying whole squash?
Yeah, pretty easy.
Look like a lot like potato fritter, don't they?
Yeah, potato cake. That's
Yeah.
what I told him earlier. I said it's like making a potato cake.
They're really good.
Anyways, I had some people that were wanting, some ladies that were wanting me to make some squash fritters, so there you go. Squash fritters. So that's another good recipe
Another good use of squash.
That's right. That's good stuff right there, y'all. I know it looks kind of like fried cornbread too, don't it?
I want another one.
They're good, y'all. So you got to try them. I want to show y'all. Me and Danny made some kraut. We started this about 2 weeks ago. It was just a little bit of cabbage that we had left coming out of the garden. And it's just about half of a gallon crock. But it's turned out really good. I did end up taking, these are the leaves that were on top. And of course my whites were on there. There was just a little bit of scum on top. But it was on top of the leaves. So, but everything was still under the brine. So everything's good. But it's really crunchy the way that I like it. And it's just sour enough to make it kraut. Stick my fork back in there. So what I'm going to do, I mean, I could leave this. I could make sure I could put the leaves back on it. Put the whites back on it. Leave it out another week. Let it get a little more sour. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a big jar and put it in the refrigerator. It'll continue to ferment in there too. But it's going to get cold. And we can start eating this with some sausages and stuff. Be really good. So that's just one more thing that we do here on the homestead. And I have several videos, and I'll put the link down below, making kraut. But this was just a small amount of kraut. And we just whooped it up pretty fast. It was just cabbage, a little bit of salt, cabbage, a little bit of salt, cabbage, a little bit of salt. Rub it together. Start pounding it down with a pounder till it makes quite a bit of juice. I didn't have enough brine from pounding it, so I just added a little bit more salt water to it and added some caraway seeds to it. That's all done to it. If you like it, some people put just a little bit of sugar. That'll give it just a little bit of a tart, sweet taste. But this is really good the way it is. So I'm going to put this in a jar, put it in the fridge, and we're going to start eating on it. I just got an old pickle jar here that I'm going to use. I also got a quart back here, but I'm going to start with the old pickle jar and start putting my kraut in there. The longer this sits, the better it gets. And if you don't process it, it'll stay crisp in the refrigerator. And that's really the way I like it. I like to take this sauerkraut, and y'all can probably hear Mr. Brown out on the front deck. He bought him a new duck call. So if you hear that in the background, that's what it is. We ain't got no ducks yet. After them, whatever it was that got my ducks, I haven't bought any more yet. I'm going to one of these days, though, because I love my ducks. So you get a little bit of a serenade with the duck call from Mr. Brown there. He loves to duck hunt as much as he loves to fish. So I'm just going to fill this up, and this is pretty much going to fill this little pickle jar up. Then I'm going to pour the brine over it, stick it in the fridge, and start eating on it. Like I said, this was just a small batch, but let me tell you something. Every bit counts. Don't matter if it's a big batch, little batch, it all adds up. So there we go. That is our homemade sauerkraut. It's going straight into the refrigerator. And you see, the brine is cloudy, and that's the way it should look. That's a good fermentation. It means it's good, it's fermented, it's doing its stuff. And you see the bubbles. Good stuff and good for your gut. So that's what we're having for supper tonight. Our leftover squash fritters. And you see how many's left out of 10. That batch made 10. So we're going to eat them, and then we're going to eat our homemade kraut with sausages. And that's going to be our supper. And yes, Mr. Brown's still out there on that duck call. He'll do it till he gets it down pat, I guarantee you. So we're sitting out here on the deck.
Yeah.
Something that y'all haven't seen yet. And I'm going to do a video and just let y'all look around. It'll probably be the next video. But it's... I know y'all probably thinking, are y'all done yet? We're done. We're done building. Started from that little cabin with the 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And now we've got a sunroom. And then we closed in the back porch to make a small bedroom. And now we put a deck on the front. To me, it's going to be like a whole other living area, especially when it's nice weather. And sitting out here right now, what time is it? It's probably about 5.
5 o'clock. It ain't too bad today.
No.
Not too bad.
We got plenty of trees right here, so we're in the shade. But I will share the deck with you. It's not huge, but it's pretty big. And the carpenters built me a pergola across half of it to hang my plants, and it just looks really pretty. In fact, one of the carpenters said he said it changed the whole look of your house, Miss Lori. I said, I know. He said, it looks like it needs to be on the beach now. I said, okay, I got a beach house out in the middle of the woods now. But I will show y'all. I will do it either the next video or coming up this next week.
It's kind of an octagon shape.
But I'm enjoying it so much right now. We come out here first thing mornings, and this is where we drink our coffee.
Sit here and drink coffee, and I miss my porch that we made a sunroom out of. But the truth of it all was I didn't use it that much, really, because I was working all the time. We was working all the time. We was gone in the morning coffee and come in, and you had things to do, and we just didn't get to utilize it very much. But we did miss it. So we decided to build a deck on front. And
that's how we do things here. We just, as we go along, and as we can afford it, we go ahead and do it, get it paid for. We don't, and that way, now we're retired. The house is where it needs to be for our retirement, and we're done, and now we can just enjoy it now. And if y'all are hearing something in the background, that's my fountain.
You got a waterfall going.
I got a waterfall fountain back there, and that's probably what you're hearing. Because I know that mic picks up a lot of back noise. But we went to the lake, Crown Lake, for the 4th with most of our kids and the grandkids. We had a wonderful time. I got sunburnt. The grandkids got sunburnt. My bottom lip even got sunburnt, and it's been swelled up.
Your pouty lip.
My right here is burnt. And I had one of those, I had a cap on. But I still got burnt, but it's okay.
Back your neck.
Back my neck. Poor Mr. Brown couldn't get in the water because he's got an infected toe.
I ain't infected.
Well, it looks infected. But anyways.
I actually got a toenail that about tore off.
Yeah, so he couldn't get in that dirty water.
I could have, but I decided I ain't getting that late. No. I did get in the pool one time.
We just didn't want to take a chance, but... and it was hot. Boy, it was hot. Been 2 days out on that lake, wasn't it?
Kids swam themselves to death.
Yeah, you just had to stay in the water. That's the only way you could do it. But the kids had a cabin. Me and Danny, of course, had our camper, and we camped out. And but update on the camper, we're having a little bit of issues, so we got to get that checked out.
It's done. It's been doing great. And on the way up there, we got up to about Hardy, and we run into the dollar store, so you had to get a few things. And the air conditioner, the engine air conditioner, I noticed was getting warm. Then I looked down, I got to check engine light on, and it's starting to run rough. and it's got some flooding issues. It's flooding. We made it up there, and of course we have the other air conditioner for the camper itself, and we done just fine. On the way home, we made it home, but it's flooding, and I've got to. I've checked on it, but I ain't got it figured out yet, and probably gonna have to hook it up to a laptop and see what's going on. It don't make sense to me that we got air problems and engine problems at the same time, but computerized stuff, who knows?
We were just blessed that we made it back. I mean, we made it there. We prayed all the way, and then prayed all the way back home, and we got home with it. And it's under the shed, and we just got to get it checked out.
It would run pretty fair when it was out running, but low idle, it gets overloaded. It's flooding in fuel. You can smell it and you can see it. So I say I got an air fuel mixture problem, and it could just be a sensor. It could be a mouse got in there and ate on a wire. I don't know yet. But
so what did y'all do for the 4th? I hope y'all had a good, safe 4th, and even if you stayed home, I hope you rested and enjoyed yourself. We cooked some pork steaks and some of them, rest of them jalapeno poppers, and fed the kids, and we just had a good time. But just as always, it feels good to get back home too.
I was tired when we got home.
I'm still tired.
We had a storm come up Thursday night late, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And blowed the camper pretty hard.
Yeah.
But we didn't get much. Got a little bit of rain up there, not much. We got about 4/10 here out of that, which glad to get. You didn't have to come right home and water.
No, because I really figured that's what I was going to have to do. But anyways, I did pick a few squash and cucumbers, but I didn't have to water anything because we got a little bit of rain. But we just want to get on here and see how y'all's 4th was and talk for just a little bit, and then we're going to get back to our getting busy and everything. Rat killing and so
I was actually blowing on duck calls.
Well, I was talking to them about it in there because I was showing them what we was having for supper, and
I was blowing on when you was talking?
Yeah, I could hear it in there. I don't know for sure if they heard it, but I think they did. But I told them you were serenading them with a duck call.
I ordered some duck calls and just got them in, and I was just trying them. See what it sound like, see if I can learn how to blow some of them, or some different calls of different type ducks other than mallard ducks. And, well, actually teal, and I got mallard calls, and I got a snow goose, not a snow goose, but a speckled belly call, which is a white-fronted goose is the scientific name for it. Ribeye of the sky, they call it. Very good eating. But anyway, I ordered several of them calls. I've already got duck hunting on my mind. I've ordered me a duck blind for my boat, and it won't be long. You know, it won't be long. It'll be August, and in early teal season in September. And
no, it just seems like school's fixing to start right back up. Don't seem like, you know, the kids have had much of a summer off, but
we won't be going back.
We won't be going.
You won't be going back.
Yay. But I don't know. We've been just as busy as ever too, but it's that time of year when, you know, everything's going on. But we just want to get on here and say hi to y'all and see how your 4th was. And like I said, get back to what we was doing. And we're going to see y'all in a few days. I may do a little tour around the house, the new deck, and maybe even take y'all inside the house. I've had some people that said they would really enjoy me doing another tour inside my little house. So I'll do that for you.
So we got any volunteers? Like, we're letting this deck lumber dry, then we're going to stain it. And probably about October, everything goes good when the humidity gets down. It's really drying. It's really showing signs of drying.
Yeah.
So we're looking for volunteers to come do a lot of staining.
A lot of staining.
A lot of staining. There's a lot of lumber in this deck.
Anyways, we'll get it done. So God bless everybody. We're going to see y'all in a couple of days, I promise. Have a good rest of the weekend, and be safe. Get outside.
Most of all, be happy. If you can.
If you get outside, be careful and be happy. That's right. God bless everybody. We'll see you
We'll see you next time
on the homestead.
on the homestead.
Do-do-do-do.
Whippoorwill holler.